What's going on, guys? SpikeZillion here, and I have committed sins. Um, that's just what I've done. That is what's on screen. It is a sin I've committed, and I am sorry. I'm also not really that sorry because it's kind of sick. I'm not gonna lie. It might be the best list I've ever made. And that's coming from the Harpy guy who just loves playing Harpies and does everything Harpy. Harpy Cash is kind of based. It's kind of the best thing I've ever made, but this is like second best, if not the best. It's pretty dope. Got lots of stuff going on here, so I'm gonna try to explain every single card as much as possible because somehow someone's gonna be like, "What is this card? What is that card?" So, if you want to skip this, I don't blame you. You'll see another screen eventually. We'll talk about like combos. We'll do some test hands, and you can see what is kind of cooking in this deck. You'll see. It'll be very interesting. But right now, I'm gonna go through the card by card. So I'm sorry if you know everything, but I'm gonna try to do my best. All right, here we go. All right, Agito. Agito is a miller. When it goes to the graveyard from the hand or the deck, you mill five. Both players mill 5 from their deck, which is pretty crazy from the top of their deck. That's pretty much the main thing about it. It can special summon itself, but you'll probably very rarely use that unless it's in your hand. You really can't get it out. Alistair the Invoker's effect. You normal summon it. It searches Invocation. Invocation we'll get to later. It's a fusion card. You'll see it down here. It's this guy. And then, yeah, you can also discard it to make your fusion monster gain 1,000 attack until the end of the turn, I think. Yep. And that's pretty much it. And keep in mind, you can only search Invocation on normal summon, not on special summon. This is one of the 4 Horuses. We'll actually get to that after. We'll keep going. We got Fallen of Albaz. Fallen of Albaz is a branded monster. When it's normal or special summon, you can discard a card, fusion summon a fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters on either field's fusion material, including this card. You cannot use other monsters you control as fusion materials. So it has to be Fallen of Albaz plus a monster on their side of the field usually. Which is a really great out for a lot of decks like Kashtira that don't have an option if they don't have impermanence or something like that. This is a great out for that to get out of situations. So, yeah, it's a pretty good card. You also need it for Branded Fusion, so yeah, no shit, it's in there for that. Next is Happy. This is another Horus card. We'll get to that later. This is another Horus card over here. Kashtira Fenrir. So there's 2 Kashtira monsters in here, but technically there's only really one because Tier Cash is basically a Tearlaments monster more than a Cash monster. But what's great about Kashtira Fenrir is that this monster can be special summoned from your hand if you control no monsters. And on top of that, it can search for a Kashtira monster. So we search for Tearlaments Kashtira, which is down here. We'll get to that in a second. And then also, if your opponent activates a monster effect on resolution, or so on resolution, if your opponent activates a monster effect, or if you declare an attack with Fenrir, either of those things, you can target a card, a face-up card that your opponent controls and banish it face down. So it's excellent for that. Next we have Kelbeck. This is the exact same thing as Agito, except it has a slightly better effect in the hand if you special summon itself. Other than that, they're both basically the exact same. They both mill 5 from the top of both decks. Keldo is another Shizu card, just like these 2 guys, these 2 Miller guys. But the difference is that this one targets 3 cards in, I think, either graveyard. Yep, and then you can shuffle those into the deck. So it's pretty good for recursion. If you want to recur one of these Miller guys, you already milled both, then yeah, that's a really good way of doing it. We have King of the Swamp next. King of the Swamp, you discard it to get Polymerization. It can be used as a substitute for any fusion that says a specific name, but the rest of the monsters have to be correct. Pretty much, like, you can use it for, like, anything that's invocation, like invoked monsters, because they all ask for Alistair the Invoker. You can use it for Lubellion, for Branded Fusion-related stuff, instead of Fallen of Albaz. You can use it for, is there anything else on my list? Or you can use it for Grapha. I'm not playing it in this build, though. So that's pretty much it. Oh, yeah, you use it for Rule Kalos, of course, to make Tearlaments Rule Kalos, so you beat Nibiru, because Nibiru is pretty bad for this deck. So yeah, it's quite good for that. Next we have Performage, Damage Juggler, and Trick Clown. Damage Juggler, if it hits the graveyard, you can banish it for cost to search for Trick Clown, which is pretty cool. It's also just a light target for Shaddoll Fusion, which we'll get to later. but we needed to make Shaddoll Construct, which is pretty great. Yeah, that's great. Then Trick Clown, when it hits the graveyard, you can special summon a Perform Mage monster. Its attack and defense becomes 0, then I take 1,000 damage. So, not bad, right? Also, it is hard once per turn, which is not great, but that's okay. It can be sent to the graveyard in any way, shape, or form. So you can use Imseti's effect, and then use Trick Clown's effect on resolution. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't need to be card effect. You can just do whatever you want. Here's another Horus card. So we have all 4 Horus cards seen now. So we have the Earth, the Water, the Dark, and the Monkey, the Wind, right? So all 4 of these guys can special summon themselves as an inherent summon, so it doesn't have to be declared, right? In order to, if you have King Sarcophagus on the field face up, which is pretty great, because we can make rank 8 plays with them because they're level 8s. It's pretty awesome. You can also search for King Sarcophagus using Imseti. So you go Imseti effect to discard itself and another card in your hand. So you can use that to discard one of the Ishizu Millers, or you can do that to discard Trick Clown, or you can do that to discard Damage Juggler, or you can do it to discard Keldo. If you're really desperate, you could use it to discard basically anything else on this list. You could use it to discard Invocation if you have Alistair the Invoker banished, and you want to add him back to your hand. There's a number of different things you can do. There's different situations for everything, which makes it great for discarding. We want to make discarding as good as possible, even if it's not for effect. If it's for cost, we can still make it good. So, yeah, that's why Imseti is incredibly good. Also, we get to draw 1 card when we do that effect as well. So basically, you go 0 in card advantage, and now Imseti's in the graveyard, which is perfect because we can special summon it using King Sarcophagus from the graveyard for free, which is pretty great. And then same thing with all these other guys. They can't be special summoned from the hand that way. They have to be special summoned from the graveyard. Any of the Horus cards. So, yeah. Each of them have their own effects that are different. Usually it only depends on when another card other than them leaves the field in any way, shape, or form. Then they get an effect. So most people try to remove them as soon as possible instead of removing King Sarcophagus first. Which is why it's such an incredibly powerful tool, because it's just a really powerful engine. If they banish them, then yeah, you can't bring them back. But if they destroy them or send them in some way, yeah, it kind of sucks because you just bring them back immediately. So it sucks for them. So it's really incredibly powerful. Anyway, let's talk about the Shaddoll monsters now. So we have Shaddoll Beast. When this card's sent to the graveyard, you can draw 1 card. The other effect, you're never going to see it realistically, so fuck that. But if you flip it up, you draw 2, discard 1. Shaddoll Dragon. When this card's flipped up, it bounces a card my opponent controls. And then if it's sent to the graveyard by card effect, I can target a spell or trap on the field and destroy it. That's pretty great. You can only use 1 effect per turn, only once a turn. All of them say that, by the way. It's either 1 effect per... It's either of the effects per turn. Not just both effects once per turn. It is only 1 effect or the other per turn for all of them. Hedgehog, when it's flipped, you can add a Shaddoll spell or trap from your deck to your hand, and then if it's sent to the graveyard from a card effect, you can add a Shaddoll monster from your deck to your hand. Squamata, when it's sent, you can send a Shaddoll monster from deck to hand, or from deck to graveyard, sorry. So yeah, you could send Squamata, then send Beast to draw 1, you could send Squamata to send Dragon to pop 1, send Squamata to send Hedgehog to add a Shaddoll monster. The world is yours, basically. There's so many options. Alright. Next, we have Tearlaments. Let's talk about Tearlaments. So we have Tearlaments Havness, we have Tearlaments Kashtira, we have Tearlaments Merly, we have Shiren, and we have Rhino Heart. So I only have 2 Rhino Heart in here, which is fine. Havness, Shiren, and Merly each fusion summon when they hit the graveyard by card effect, which is very, very easy to do in a lot of different ways in this deck. Basically, they have to fusion summon using themselves from the graveyard or the field or from the hand. And the way they do that is they shuffle themselves back in the deck. Or they put themselves in the bottom of the deck in any order, rather. So, yeah, you can fusion summon a lot of different things with that. It's pretty great. They're also dark, which makes them incredibly powerful for any dark monster plays. There's a handful of them in this deck, and there's more to be made in the future if I change some stuff up. But yeah, incredibly powerful cards. Shiren, while it's in my hand, I can special summon it by sending another monster from my hand to the graveyard, for effect, by the way, and then mill 3 from the top of my deck, which is pretty great. Merly is a mill 3 if it's normal summoned or special summoned, so most of the time you normal summon it. so it's probably the worst one of the three. And then Havness, when my opponent activates a monster effect on the field, I can special summon this card from my hand and then mill top 3. So each of them are going to mill 3. They mill 3 in a different way. Havness is really good for your opponent's turn, obviously. And then Shiren is just really, really good if your opponent basically just is ham-boned and they just lose, pretty much. Because Shiren's pretty incredible. And then Tearlaments Kashira. This was added later in the game. This can be searched with Fenrir, and then what happens is you can use its effect to special summon itself from your hand. And then when you do, you have to banish a Kashira or Tearlaments monster, or card, sorry, not monster, card, from your hand or graveyard. You banish it from either of those spots. When it's summoned on the field, you can mill 3 from either your opponent's deck or your deck, usually it's your deck. And then when it hits the graveyard by card effect, you mill 2 from your top of your deck. So that's pretty great. So you mill 5 total with this card, which is pretty incredible. And then we have Rhino Heart. Rhino Heart, when it's normal summoned or special summoned, you can Foolish Burial a Tearlaments monster, so send it from deck to grave. So usually you'll send one of the fusioners. You could send to your cache, though, if you really want to mill generic cards, which is pretty great. If this card is sent to the graveyard by card effect, you can special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. And if you do, send one Tearlaments card from your hand to the graveyard. So you can also fuse that way too. If you have one in your hand and you want to get rid of it, you can do that. Alright, next we have Brain Infusion. Brain Infusion can't be used if you use anything that isn't a fusion monster in your extra deck. And then afterwards you also cannot fusion summon, or you cannot do anything else other than fusion summon from your extra deck for the rest of this turn. So yeah, you cannot use this card as long unless you have only fusion summoned from your extra deck. You can't Xyz summon, can't Link summon, you can't Synchro summon, etc. You can't do any of that. You have to have only fusion during the entire turn in order to be able to use this card legally. So yeah, this card's broken though. It's one of the best cards in the game. It's one of my least favorite cards ever printed. This card's fucking bullshit. This card should be banned. But okay, we'll put it at 1, right? Right? Maybe? Please? Anyway, yeah, this card, basically, you send 2 cards from your deck to your graveyard for absolutely no fucking reason. You have you don't need any prerequisites or anything. Again, Brain Infusion, you can just use it whenever the fuck you please, pretty much, other than the condition I mentioned earlier, but the condition is so open-ended that it literally doesn't matter. If we're being honest, it really doesn't matter at all. So you send Fallen Valbaz plus any dark, so you could literally send any of the Tearlaments if you want, send a Shaddoll monster if you want, whatever the fuck you want. You could just send anything as long as it's another dark, and you summon Lubellion. Lubellion effect you discard for cost, and then you fusion summon, and you can make literally anything in your extra deck at that point that is a fusion monster. Usually it's Mirror Jade, but you could do literally whatever the fuck you want. So many options here. You could literally do Kaliga if you wanted to, which is hilarious. So yeah, Brain Infusion is an incredibly powerful card, kind of overpowered in my opinion, should probably be banned. Anyway, that's fine. Foolish Burial. Send a monster from your deck to the graveyard, very straightforward. I already mentioned who wants to get sent to the graveyard, and this is for effect, by the way. Foolish Burial Goods is the same thing, but for spell or traps, and it is hard once per turn, which is fine. Pretty much, we only need one of these in the deck anyway, and usually we send Sulliek or Scream, depending on what we need. You don't really need to send any other spells or traps other than those 2, so yeah, kind of whatever. Next we have Invocation. Invocation, basically you can fusion summon using cards from your hand as fusion material, or if you're making an invoked monster, which there's 2 of in this deck, you can banish Alistair the Invoker and any other cards from your field or either graveyard as fusion material, which is pretty insane. And then you can, oh yeah, in addition to that, you can use cards from your hand as well, but they just get sent to graveyard. They don't get banished. Anyway, if this card is in your graveyard, you turn a banished Alistair the Invoker and add him to your hand, and then you shuffle Invocation back into your deck. That's fine, right? It's pretty good. Pretty powerful engine. You can use it very, very easily here. King Sarcophagus is at 3. I already kind of mentioned this card briefly, but basically, you can get this searched from Imseti. Imseti will search the King Sarcophagus. Basically, Horus monsters you control. Cannot be destroyed by card effects that do not target them, which is incredibly good. So basically, they have to be targeted in order to be popped by card effects, which is pretty good in this format. And then, yeah, you can send one card from your hand to the graveyard, send one Horus monster from your deck to the graveyard. You can use this 4 times per turn, which is insanity. Now, mind you, you do have to send a card from the hand to the graveyard specifically, so you can't do this under Dimension Shifter or Macrocosmos or any of that shit. However, that being said, it is very easy conditions and incredibly good, because if you have one of the Horus monsters already in your hand, you send that, and you literally do the effect as a double whammy, which is incredible. So yeah, really good card. And then, of course, the fact that... Oh, also it has this extra effect that comes up very often, surprisingly. Once per turn, at the start of the damage step, if your Horus monster battles an opponent's monster, send that opponent's monster to the graveyard. Now, notably, this is soft once per turn, which means if I have 2 copies of King Sarcophagus for some reason on the board, I can do this twice, which is fucking stupid. So yeah, incredibly powerful card. Shaddoll construct effect is very similar. Oh, Jesus. I actually timed out. That's incredible. All because I was talking about the deck. That's insane. Anyway, for the Omega pile. Where the fuck is that? There it is. I saved it, right? Yeah, I did. Nice. Okay. Where was I? Right. So yeah, it's pretty incredible card. Pretty crazy. Most people want to pop this as soon as possible, but if there is a Horus card on the field already, they're going to get effects. It's kind of awful. It's kind of a whole thing, right? So it's annoying. Magical Meltdown. This searches Alistair the Invoker, and then also what's insane about this card is that your opponent cannot negate the fusion card. So if it's Shaddoll Fusion, or Invocation, or Polymerization, or Super Poly, the activation of your cards and effects that include an effect that fusion summons a fusion monster cannot be negated, which also means that the Tearlaments monsters cannot be negated as well. Like, it's pretty insane. Also, you cannot respond with cards or effects on the fusion summon of a monster. So if your monster has an effect on fusion summon, your opponent cannot respond to those either, which is pretty incredible. So this is really good for Shaddolls, obviously, because Shaddoll Construct is a pretty powerful monster, and most people want to respond to it, but you cannot respond to it with this card on the field. Pretty insane. Anyways, yeah, that's a good card. Polymerization. I don't want to explain this, right? Cool. Planet Pearl Rhino. This is to search the Tearlaments monsters, or Visa Star Frost, but I don't play that shit in this deck. I could, though. Fusion monsters and Tearlaments monsters you control gain 500 attack, which is great. And then if a Tearlaments monster you control or in your graveyard is shuffled into the deck or extra deck, you can, I think it's destroy a card on the field? Target a card on the field and destroy it, yeah. Yeah, so it's a pretty good card. You can only activate 1 per turn, so if they ash it and you have another one in your hand, that's tough luck anyway. But yeah, it's a really, really powerful card. Really, really good, because Tearlaments are broken. Shaddoll Fusion. This is one of my favorite cards in the entire game. You can fusion summon a Shaddoll monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field of fusion material. And if your opponent controls a monster that was special summoned from the extra deck, you can also use your deck as fusion material, or monsters in your deck, which is the main thing about this card that makes it incredibly strong. Because it doesn't lock you out of Xyz and shit if you really needed to go into Xyz. Most of the time you don't, if you already have Shaddoll Fusion, but, you know, sometimes you want to go a little bit extra on the deck. So, yeah. Pretty cool card. Incredible card. Super Poly. I don't think I've explained this one, but basically you discard a card, fusion summon a monster using monsters from either field as fusion material, and your opponent can't respond to it. Very fair and balanced card. They really should keep this in the meta forever. It's a really fair and balanced card for sure. Tearlaments Scream. If a monster is normal or special summon while you control a Tearlaments monster, you can mill 3 basically. And then for the rest of this turn, all monsters your opponent controls lose 500 attack permanently. Pretty crazy. If this card is sent to the graveyard by card effect, you can add a Tearlaments Trap, which there's only one, which is Celiac. This card is basically a permanent effect monster negate, and you send a monster you control to the graveyard, which could be basically a Tearlament monster, and then that Tearlament monster confuse. It's pretty crazy. You need to control a Tearlament monster in order to do the effect negation, though. So you don't really play this on field unless you have a Tearlaments monster on your final end board there, which is pretty funny, because you will fairly frequently. Yeah, so anyway. And then if this card's sent to the graveyard by card effect, you can search a tier monster. And that's about it, so it's a really good card. Finally, we have Terraforming. I don't think I've explained this, but you search a field spell. And then finally, Shaddoll Schism. This is the last card in the pile in the main deck. Jesus Christ. Shaddoll Schism. You can fusion summon. During the main phase, you can fusion summon a Shaddoll monster from your extra deck by banishing fusion materials mentioned on it from your field or graveyard, but it cannot attack directly. Then you can send to the graveyard one monster your opponent controls with the same attribute as that fusion summon monster. So you would send like a dark if you special summon, or if you fusion summon a dark monster. Yeah, so it's a really good card. Okay. Side deck. Side deck, we have Ash, we have Droll, we have Nibiru, we have Forbidden Droplet. You could probably replace Droplet, to be honest, but whatever. We have Feather Duster, and we have 2 Lightning Storms. This is a pretty good sideboard. You just want a lot of random effect negation. You kind of want to restrict your opponent to be able to add cards, because adding cards is really good in this format. And then we want back row destruction, because Runic Fountain, kind of a bitch of a card. Kind of annoying. Kind of hate it. So, yeah, we need to get rid of that shit. Anyway, let's talk about the extra deck. We have Shaddoll Construct. This card needs a Shaddoll monster and a light monster, which is pretty easy to make. It must first be fusion summoned. If this card is special summoned, you can send one Shaddoll card from your deck to the graveyard. At the start of the damage step, if this card battles a special summon monster, destroy that monster. If this card is sent to the graveyard, I can target a Shaddoll spell or trap and add it to my hand. Pretty good card. All 3 of these Shaddoll monsters all have the same graveyard effect when they're sent to graveyard. It doesn't matter how they were sent to graveyard. They all target a Shaddoll spell or trap in my graveyard and add it to my hand. So they're all really good for that reason. Shekanaga is the least played one I find of the 3 most of the time. The reason that I play this over App Clone is literally just so I could send a Shizu Millers, because they're both Earth. That's literally the main reason why. Although you could also send Fenrir, I guess, or you could send the Horus Earth. You could do a few different options with this one. Anyway, this card is a Shaddoll monster and an Earth monster. It must be first be fusion summoned. When a special summon monster activates its effect while you have a Shaddoll card in your hand, quick effect, you can negate the activation, destroy the monster, then send one Shaddoll card from your hand to the graveyard. So by the way, that's for effect, which is pretty great. And yeah, that's a hard once per turn effect. Winda is a floodgate. Many people have probably seen this card already, but basically, both players can only special summon once per turn when this card's on the field. It needs a Shaddoll monster and a dark monster, which is insanely easy to make with my list because there's so many darks and it's not even funny. It also can't be destroyed by opponent's card effects, and then again, it has that same graveyard effect as the other 2, so that's great. Next, we have Garura. This is a super poly target. This is a great card. It does double battle damage. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can draw a card. So this is a great card. Mudragon in the Swamp is the other super poly target. This one's a little bit better because I can make monsters on the field untargetable based on the attribute, which is incredibly powerful. It's one of the best cards to fight against Runic, which is great. Although, again, Runic, you're not going to see Mudragon all that often with Runic unless you start milling Tearlaments cards. So, yeah, it's a little bit difficult for that. But other than that, it's fine. You know, it's a good card. Next, we have the invoked cards. So we have Kaliga first. This is a Floodgate card as well, just like Winda. This and Winda is insane, because Winda is going to make it only one special summon per turn, and then Kaliga is only one monster effect per turn, and only one monster can attack during each battle phase, which is incredibly powerful to be able to force situations in battle phase with Kaliga, and making people have to effectively skip most of their turn, because battle phase will be a huge part of it. So this is a really powerful card for that. Makaba is the other one. This one requires light monster, so I have a dark monster plus Alistair. And then this one is a Omni Negate. It sends the same type of card, monster, spell, or trap from your hand to the graveyard. Negates the activation if you do banish that card. So if your opponent uses like Shaddoll Fusion, for example, I can send my own Shaddoll Fusion, then negate the activation and banish the card. Right? So it's pretty straightforward, really good card. Lubellion and Mirror Jade are both branded cards. They're pretty broken. Lubellion, when it's summoned, you discard a card for cost, and then fusion summon basically anything you fucking want, as long as you have the materials for it, which is pretty great. So you could shuffle cards from your graveyard, your field, or your hand, I think, from your field, graveyard, and or face-up banish cards. Okay, so not from your hand. So it's field, graveyard, or banish cards. shuffle on any of them into the deck, and fusion summon. For the rest of this turn, this card cannot attack. Also, you cannot special summon monster from the extra deck except fusion monsters. So again, it locks you into fusion monsters. And yeah, that's about it. So that's a pretty great card. Notably, is for the rest of this turn, however. So if you Xyz beforehand, you're still okay. Mirror Jade, on the other hand, is your boss monster for the branded archetype. You can send a Lubellion or Albion or whatever, anything that mentions Fallen of Albaz, in your extra deck. You can send it to the graveyard as material, and then, send it to the graveyard, and then banish one monster on the field, non-targeting. Also, this card cannot use this effect next turn. If this fusion summon card leaves the control of the owner, because of an opponent's card. So, like, if this card gets tributed, if this card gets sent to the graveyard or banished or whatever, I can activate effect to destroy all monsters or opponent controls during the end phase of this turn. So it activates in the moment, and then it resolves in the end phase. This is an incredibly broken card for that reason. Problem-solving card text is a bitch. Yeah, stupid card. Anyway, finally we have Real Kalos for the fusions, and Real Kalos is a special summon negate, so this is really good against Nibiru. Nibiru kind of fucking shits on a lot of stuff in this deck, so we need Real Kalos early to make sure that Nibiru doesn't fucking cuck us. Next we have Hope Harbinger Dragon Titanic Galaxy, is a long name. It's a rank 8 monster. It's a spell negate and attach, which is pretty funny. You can also retarget attacks into this guy if you so choose to, which is pretty great. Dugaris, this card can do 3 different possible effects. You can skip your next draw phase and then draw 2 and discard 1 card. You can skip your next main phase 1 and special summon a monster from your graveyard in defense. Or you can skip the battle phase in your next turn and also double the attack of 1 monster you control until the end of the turn. This is a great card for the first effect mainly, but the second effect is actually not bad either, depending on the situation. But losing main phase 1 is really, really difficult, though. So, yeah, I don't know. Kind of a crazy card, that being said, because you might be able to win games in 1 turn with that effect anyway. So, yeah, great card. Next, we have Zombie Vampire. This is another rank 8 monster. If you detach 1, both players mill 4, and then you special summon a monster from those 8 cards that are milled. So that's pretty great, right? Pretty powerful card. That's the only part that really matters. There's more effects in there, but nobody really cares. You can also, I guess, can't be targeted by special summon monsters for effects, so whatever. Anyway, Artemis. Artemis is literally used to link off Alistair the Invoker into Artemis in order to make Makaba for free, because it's a light monster plus a dark right there, so that's pretty great. And then Cross Sheep is here literally just to special summon level 4 lower monster from my graveyard, which can be many, many, many different things. And that's pretty great, because that's another way to make Garrus. And yeah, we can go with our lives, or we could just like have more materials just lay around to do other stuff for whatever reason. We want to send it to the graveyard, sure, we can do that. Yeah, Cross Sheep is there for you for that. Anyway, that is all the cards. Oh my god, that took like 30 fucking minutes to do. Oh my god. You know, let's do the combos. Or let's do the test hands, shall we? Let's do the test hands. I don't know if I'm gonna do combos in this video. I'll do combos in a separate video. Because holy fuck, I still have to learn how to pilot this myself. This is a crazy pile I made. But we'll do some test hands so you can see how powerful it is. Alright, here we go. Live reaction. Real. This hand is pretty shit. This is a bad example. I mean, Brand Fusion, we can do stuff with. We can start with Fenrir, right? So let's start with Fenrir. Fenrir effect. We grab Tier Cash. Where the fuck are you? There you are. And then we go Brand Fusion. Brand Fusion, we go. What do we want to make with that? What do we make? We send Albaz, obviously. What do we want to do with this? What do we do? You can make Merly. If we go Merly, we can make interestingly enough, we could We can Merly to fusion into... Can we even do anything with Merly here? Really? Okay, instead we could send a Shaddoll, so we'll send Hedgehog, probably. I'm trying to think, does Hedgehog help us? We could send Beast to draw one. I think we'll just do that. We'll send Beast, right? And then we'll get Lubellion. We'll go Lubellion effect, we'll discard the Keldo. And then we'll go Beast to draw one. Okay. That is not helpful yet. Oh, yeah, right. Whoops. We technically don't have this yet, but Lubellion's gonna fuse here. Oh no, we would have had it, yeah, because we resolved backwards. So yeah, we're gonna fuse here. So we're gonna go probably Lubellion and Albaz, to be honest. We could make Winda here instead. And just sit on this. King of the Swamp, we add thing. King of the Swamp, we add Ollie. That's not bad, actually. It's not bad at all. Fallen of Albaz plus Beast. We make Winda. I mean, that's a Floodgate, right? That's not bad, actually. Low key. That's not bad. Let's do that. So we'll put these two back. Make Winda, right? Then we go King of the Swamp. Search Poly. I don't even think we need to use Poly. I don't even think we can use Poly, really, with this board. I mean, technically, we can use Poly to get rid of Winda and Lubellion and make Shaddoll Construct, but that's kind of a bad thing to do. I don't know why you would want to do that. But yeah, we're here. I mean, this is not that bad, realistically. You could literally just pass on this, but let's do another test hand. That was not super crazy. We want to go fucking nuts. This is pretty fucking good. Holy shit. I could King of the Swamp. I could also just not King of the Swamp. Okay, we'll start with Alistair. Go Alistair. Search Invo. Where the fuck is Invo? There it is. Okay, we got Invocation. We can... Funnily enough, we can use Invocation. However, if we do use Invocation, we put ourselves in kind of a precarious position. Because we need to get more stuff going on here. If I do Invocation, I can summon out... I have to summon out something that has a name in it. So I could do... let's see. What can I do with that? I could do... Technically, I could do Kaliga, which would be kind of silly. We could do... That's about it, pretty much. Oh, I guess you could make, Lubellion, technically. Yeah. You do Lubellion here. If I go Lubellion, it would discard for cost. Which we don't really need to do, because we're gonna do King Sarcophagus anyway. I think we could just literally just let this go, and just go, go Alistair into... Artemis, and then we go Invocation, make Makaba, and then we go Invocation, effect, get Alistair back in our hand, we go King of the Swamp. Yeah, okay, we're good. So we'll link into Artemis, we'll go Invocation, we will banish our friends here, to make, Makaba. Then we go Invocation, effect, engrave, shuffle this back, give us back our Alistair. Okay. Then we go King of the Swamp here, I think. I think so. Get Polly. Where's Polly? There it is. We also want to do this now so that we don't accidentally mill it. Then we go King Sarcophagus here. We'll go King Sarcophagus, send this. And then we'll send Imseti here. Where the fuck is Imseti? There it is. Right. Then we go... I could go King Sarcophagus again to send another one. In fact, I think I will. We'll send Keldo. And then send Happy. And now we want a special, so we're going to special the Imseti. We're going to special the... I'm not pronouncing this, the Earth one. And then we are going to make Zombie Vampire. These two. We could also just make Hope Harbinger here, but we want to try to mill 4. We'll go Zombie Vampire. We'll go Effect. We'll detach the Imseti. We'll mill 4 here. And the opponent will mill 4 as well. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. We hit the goods. So we got Shiren. We could go... Shiren 1, Kelbeck 2, I guess. We'll mill 5 first. So that's pretty good. Mill 5. Oh, I also have to special summon with Zombie Vampire. I forgot. So we'll special the Imseti, I guess. Right? I could do anything, right? From the mills. Yeah. So I can special Imseti. Cool. Yeah, so now we'll mill 5. What do we hit? Ooh, we hit the last Horus card, which is great. So I don't have to discard for that anymore. And then... And also, we still haven't special Happy as well, so we're, like, super plussing right now. This is fucking amazing. And then we hit Hedgehog, but we're gonna do Shiren effect first. Shiren, we can make Real Kalos now, so that we... Well, we would get Nibiru at this point anyway. But that's okay, I have Makaba anyway to negate, either way, so fuck off. But then we can make Real Kalos on top of that to really Omega negate them and just shit on them, basically. I could also Shiren here to make... other stuff. I could make Winda technically. Although that kind of seems silly. I could make Mud Dragon in the Swamp using Shiren and Zombie Vampire, although that also seems kind of silly. I could also do that with Imseti. I could do... There's a lot of things I could do. I could technically also use the Alistair in my hand, I believe. I could, yes. I can make Kaliga here, which seems a little bit silly. I don't think I need to do that. So I think here I'm going to go with the Real Kalos because it makes the most sense in my mind. So we'll go ahead and make Real Kalos. Real Kalos will get specialed. Then we'll go Hedgehog effect to search a Shaddoll monster. We'll search for a Squamata here most likely. This is lagging hard. Okay, Squamata, here we go. That's pretty good, right? That's pretty good. Now I could Poly here and make Winda anyway, so that's pretty fucking sick. Or I could make Kaliga, which is debatably worse in the setup I currently have. Also, I can make Hope Harbinger here, so I might as well. So I will go special this one. Make Hope Harbinger. These two. Right? I could put him up here, I guess. Doesn't really matter inherently. And then we can go Poly here. I don't think I need to use anything else here, right? I think we're good. Oh yeah, I can special the Happy as well. Do that before it's too late. And that's that. So I've used all my Horuses now. Pretty good, right? I still have my Keldo in my graveyard to shuffle stuff around if I want. And then we'll go Poly here. And we can use these guys in my hand if I want. Which I think I will, actually. Although, it's tempting to not. I could just do Squamata plus Zombie Vampire and keep Alistair in my hand so that I can Makaba negate. Actually, that makes more sense. Because I don't need Zombie Vampire anymore. So in that, send Squamata. Get Winda going on the field. There we go. And that's about it, right? We're pretty much blessed. Happy's on the field, which is great for King Sarcophagus plus its own effect. To add stuff to our hands, we could add back the Imseti, for example. We could add the Imseti plus the Kelbeck, which is fucking insane. We could add back the Shaddoll fusion if we want, which is pretty fucked. We could add double Super Poly if we want. Yeah, there's a lot of shit we could do. This is a pretty crazy board, right? So we have a Spell Negate, We have a special summon negate. We have a monster negate technically with what we have in hand. We have a special summon once only per turn. And we have Happy, which if any other card leaves the field, I can grab 2, so I include Super Poly and all that. And then King Sarcophagus has the Shaddoll construct effect when somebody attacks a Horus card. This is a pretty crazy hand, right? A pretty crazy board. Let's try one more test hand here. Maybe 2 more, depending on the time. I want to hit like 45 minutes roughly in the video. This one's okay. Damage Juggler is pretty good to hit the Imseti. The other Imseti's in our hand, which is whatever. We can just use that for the Gold Sark, for the King Sark. Foolish Burial, we could send many things. We could send many things. I would probably just send Kelbeck anyway to start milling. I'll start with the Imseti effect. So we'll go Imseti and send Damage Juggler. We'll grab King Sark. With that, I will go Damage Juggler effect actually first so that I don't accidentally mill the Trick Clown. Not that I mean, either way, I could use the Trick Clown to send more guys anyway. So, we'll add him to our hand here. We'll activate King Sarcophagus here. We'll send the Trick Clown. We'll mill the Monkey. Where's Happy? Happy's here. Whoops, that's going to graveyard, not in my hand. Sorry, that's going to grave. And then we'll go Imseti. We'll send this guy, I guess. And we could do it 2 more times in this turn, but I don't think I need to really at this point. I could hopefully just mill more stuff. That'll be pretty good. In this case, I will actually go ahead and start special summoning. So we're going to special Imseti. We're going to special Happy. That's pretty good. Or no, not Happy, sorry. We're going to special the other one. My bad. We're going to special this one. Right. And then we're going to make Zombie Vampire again. Whoops. Overlay. We'll detach the Imseti. Mill 4 from both decks. Oh, holy fuck, that's crazy. What do I even want to special out of this? Holy fuck. I kind of want to special the King of the Swamp, which sounds ridiculous, but holy fuck. What do I even want to special off this? That's fucking insane. Because I kind of want Squamata to stay there. I mean, I don't even have to special, right? You can. I don't even want to be honest. I kind of want to leave them all there. This is all good. Fuck it. Alright. Let's go Kelbeck 1. Hedgehog 2, Squamata 3. I think that's fair, right? Holy fuck. This is insane. We'll send Beast. Send Beast. Add Hedgehog. Where is Beast? Where is Beast? Am I blind? Did I miss it? There it is. Add Squamata with Hedgehog effect. And then we mill 5. Here we go. Whoops. Mill 5. Oh my god. It just gets better. Shiren effect. 1. Beast 2 to draw 1. Draw 1. Holy shit. Okay, that doesn't matter as much, actually. It's not as good. Although, Tier Cache is live now. With more ways than once. That's pretty good. Oh, and Scream. I forgot about Scream. We'll do Scream 3, I guess. So, sorry. So, Scream. We're gonna add the Sulliek. Pretty good. Add Sulliek. Now we're gonna fuse here. So that's pretty good. We will fuse the... Let's see. We can make Winda. I don't really need to make Winda yet. We can make Rokalis, which in fact I think is the best possible plan. So we'll do that, I think. I think Rokalis is good, because then we can activate Sulliek, right? So that's pretty good. I'm looking to see if there's anything else that I would want to do. I could technically also do Lubellion here. It would lock me into Fusion, which is okay. And then Lubellion. No, but then I would have to shuffle back again. That's kind of a bitch. I could make Shaddoll Construct with it, though, which is pretty incredible. Although I don't have a reason to send anything from deck to grave anymore. I could send Schism, I guess, technically. Not too bad. Oh, there's just so many great options here. Oh, this is so crazy. If I make Lubellion, that's pretty fucking good. If I make Real Callous, though, I think it's better to make Real Callous because then Celiac is live. And then we hope we can hit another Tearlament, basically. We'll make Real Callous here. Now we are protected by Nibiru as well. Or for Nibiru as well. Okay, so that's great. And then we have, let's see. I'll go Tear Cache Effect in gray, or in hand, rather. Special itself. Banish this. Now we'll mill 3 again. Mill 3. Oh my god, we hit it. Oh my god, that's crazy. Alright, having this effect. So now we'll do the Albaz. We'll go Lubellion. We'll go Lubellion effect. We'll discard. That's pretty good, all things considered. And then we will get the construct going, so now we can use the Trick Clown. I didn't even special the Trick Clown, by the way, because I didn't even need to. I forgot to mention that, but yeah. We could just shuffle Trick Clown at this point, really. Or we could shuffle the Damage Juggler, but I think Trick Clown is fine. Shuffle Trick Clown. Shuffle the... I'll shuffle the... Beast, I think. And we'll make Construct. I'll go Construct effect. We'll send Schism. We're here now. It's pretty crazy. Okay. Now we can Foolish Burial. We can Foolish Burial, we can send the other tier. Do we want to send the other tier? What do we want to make? We can make Winda. That's pretty good. That would make a good end board, actually. That would make a pretty reasonable end board, I think. Right? That's fair. I still have Happy, the special summon, as well. So that's pretty nice. There's a lot of things I want to do here. There's a lot of things I want to do. If I go Foolish Burial, send... The thing is I need to get rid of this Tearlaments Cashier on the field. I don't necessarily need more than just... But I don't really need the Happy on field, technically. I could just keep the King Sark on field and just leave it at that. Yeah, I was just Foolish Burial. It was Foolish Burial the last one, which I think was Merly? Right? I think it was Merly. I don't think I got Merly yet, so... Whatever, you can imagine it's the third Tearlament. I'm an idiot, okay? Keep that in mind. But anyway, Merly effect. We'll fuse. We'll make a Winda here. So we'll use the Merly and the Squamata in my hand. I think that's fine. Yeah, that's fine, right? And then we'll make the Winda. There we go. It's pretty good, right? Because now we can just set Celiac. We have a Imperm. We have Construct on field. We have Tear Cache on field still, which we could send with the Celiac effect. We have Winda on field to make it so you can only summon once. Lubellion's just here, just chilling. He's just kind of here. Whatever, right? Technically, I could have used him to make the Construct too. But whatever, that's fine. Perhaps that was a setback on my part, actually. I probably should have did that in retrospect, but it's fine. But yeah. These cards are fucking incredible. That's all I'm trying to say. This deck is fucking crazy. But yeah. Hopefully this was a good lesson for you. Hopefully you learned something useful about this deck. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good shit. Holy fuck, what a hand. Especially going second. Jesus Christ, this hand's fucking crazy. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, you know, give your boy some love in the comments below. Yeah, with that being said, holy shit. I gotta go through the combos and then tell you what to do in the combos, because oh my god, this is crazy. With that being said, I will see you guys next time.